Hey, this is Havana, and in this video, I'm going to be answering some questions I got on Facebook about art. First question, Jason Alexander Brown asked, how do you draw good? I don't really have an answer. I've been drawing since I was 3. It's always been natural to me. And in fact, I didn't think drawing was a special skill until I went to public school and saw stick figures, and I actually thought I was doing something wrong. I can tell you how to improve. I'm always in awe of people who learn how to draw later in life. Second question, Jason Hill asks, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? If so, how do you deal with it? Of course I do. The internet can be such a weird source of both inspiration and misery. There are so many talented artists out there, and of course, you know, you're going to be swarmed with the best of the best online. You, as an artist, see your own gaps. I mean, I think it's human nature to kind of see where your skills are at and compare it to someone who's like so much farther than you. But really, I should not be taking my existing skills for granted. So, how do I deal with it? I won't lie, sometimes I need a break from looking at other art, and I have to just remind myself that, hey, not everyone can draw. So I think I gotta take my skills for what they are at this moment and just pause and think about, okay, what else could I improve on? And then maybe come up with some sort of plan to work on those things. But really, I just pay attention to the fact that we all focus on our skills gap. Carter asks, I can't draw for crap. How do I get better? Getting feedback is the best thing. So if you can present a few drawings to people and have them give you concrete, actionable feedback, that's going to make you so much better, because now you'll know the specific things you need to work on. I also practice. I know that's such a cliche and non-sexy answer, but it's true. I practice, and I've been doing this for, again, since I was 3. What I'll do is I'll pull up pictures of anatomy studies and just copy them. You're not gonna get better if you don't do it again and again and again, and you're gonna fuck up along the way, but that's okay. Michael Harper asks, do you prefer traditional media or do you like to art digitally? Favorite to go? Oh yeah, you know what? He has a bunch of questions, so let's tackle that one first. I like digital art because it's quick. I have a poor attention span, so I like having something that I can just crank out really fast, and then I just go ahead and upload it to whatever social media I want. I also like the fact that you can undo things and work in layers. My graphic design friend, Sarah Lauren, she introduced me to Kyle brushes. Kyle brushes is now just a part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. His brushes emulate analog tools, so it gives it that, you know, it can give you the effect of charcoal, of pencil, of ink, of watercolor, of gouache. It's pretty amazing. But the thing is, I still like traditional media. There's just something special about like the tactile sensation of drawing on paper, of painting. I very much appreciate the ability to manipulate physical substances. And what I've learned about color is with digital art, colors don't absorb into each other. The screen radiates that color. With paint, the colors do absorb. So it's interesting to kind of like mix colors with both. If you notice on my website, there's a gallery of digital art and there's a gallery of traditional art. And you'll notice that the tone and mood are quite different. For more expressive, vulnerable art that I do when maybe I'm not feeling so great or feeling really down or struggling with something, I actually do traditional media for those pieces. Michael Harper also asks, favorite or go-to art supplies and programs for each? Traditional media, I mean, I'm a line art girl, so I love inks. I've tried oils. I tried oils in a special Caravaggio art history art class during one summer in college. Props to people who work in oils. I just couldn't. It wasn't my medium. I like acrylics. I actually like gouache. And I'm starting to form a love with watercolor. And digital, I just use Photoshop. 3 most influential artists on your style. Definitely Bruce Timm. He did the Batman animated series in the 90s. Another influence, I would say, would be Audrey Kawasaki. She does these beautiful, ethereal drawings. And the third would be Glenn Keane. I mean, it's very hard for me to break out that Disney style. And in fact, people tend to recognize my work from a mile away because of that. Artists' work that you love to look at but don't feel like they're a direct influence on your work. Oh my god, so many. James Jean, Edward Munch, Caravaggio, Loish, Afua Richardson. There's like too many to name. Favorite or default color palette? I gravitate towards black and white or grayscale. I'm a boring bitch, I guess. You ever return to old work and redo them to measure your progress? I need to do that. That's been on my to-do list for years, actually. Have you ever taught art either through a class, private lessons, or video tutorials? Yes, I have a video that I did on how to create confident lines, and you can see that video on Confident Lines here. I also work with the comic series Kamikaze. We have a panel that we do at conventions like Dragon Con, MomoCon, StationCon, etc. on character design. And if you're ever in a rut with character design, we have a special formula that you can kind of follow to figure out your character's visual design. Oh my god, too many questions from Michael. How important was Michael Harper in your development as an artist? Is it true he's as handsome in person as he seems on the internet? Is it true he sweats pure nitroglycerin of creative talent? To be honest, Michael is awesome. He was a mentor of mine back when I was doing my graphic design business, and I am a very passive, not very assertive person, and he actually inspired me to be a little bit more assertive and own my skills. So yes, Michael Harper had a role in my creative development. Whatever. Done with the Michael questions. Diz Remington III asks, how do you personally determine whether your own art is bad or good? Let's see. Now, sometimes it takes a couple days. I'll actually step away from it for some time, maybe a day or two, and then return to it. And then I actually see a lot of maybe the mistakes or what have you. Other than that, I guess it's more of an emotional thing. Am I proud of it? Does it evoke positive feelings from me? Does it express what I wanted to express? It doesn't have to be technically correct, I guess. You can do a couple tricks to spot those little mistakes though. If you turn the artwork around, it's going to look a little different. And while it's not going to look perfect, the mistakes in your drawings will be a lot more glaring. So you can actually turn it back around and fix them. Pete LaQuaglia asks, how do you market your art? Here are 2 books you need. It's Steal Like an Artist and then Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. What's worked for me is just like showing my art online. A lot of people are afraid to show their art either because it's not good enough or what if people steal it? I've had my art stolen, but the thing is, I'm the one who made it. Like, okay, sure, you can, like, people who steal my art, they can't provide commissions. They can't do anything like that. So yes, the fear is not unfounded. It does happen, but it's not as devastating as you might think it would be. Once you've built some fans of your work, they'll humiliate that art thief. So don't steal art. Not cool. You're gonna get embarrassed. You're gonna get dragged. The other way I market my art is I always have some work on my phone or tablet, or I carry the Kamikaze book with me everywhere I go, and when I introduce myself, I mention that I'm an artist, and I can whip out those samples. Pete LaQuaglia also asked how to add better value in black and white graphic art, comic book style. So if you're just working with black ink, for example, check out Jamel Jones' art. He's able to render values using just ink. You can do it by hatching, cross-hatching. If you use Kyle brush, there's a whole like half-tone brush that you can use, and I love that thing. It makes my art way more professional looking than it actually is. It's a nice simple way to add some dimension into your work, even if it's black and white. Diz Remington asked again, how to overcome creative blocks. Ooh, good one. So this is something I've been tackling ever since I was a kid. Even as a middle schooler, I had a creative block. Your hand's not doing the thing that your mind is trying to tell it to do. Okay, there's a couple things that have helped me. Number one, take a break. Take a break from the creative stuff. Secondly, change something up. If you're not ready to take a break from creative work, you can do other things like maybe you can do paper craft, or maybe you can focus on cooking or sculpting or basket weaving, I don't know. Or you can actually draw in a totally new style. So when I was in middle school, I had like a very anime inspired style and then a very Disney inspired style. And whenever I got caught in a creative block, I would switch between the two. If I had been drawing anime for a while, then I would swap over to the Disney style and vice versa. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but worth a try. Something I've been doing recently is trying to emulate Matt Groening's art. It's so different from anything I do. Because I have no reference for his style, like to me, like I have to study like how the neck connects to the chin. There's not really a chin, how it connects to the head, and the hairstyles, and how much is too much, how much is too little. So I can't really explain why that gets me out of the creative block, but it does. And finally, I think I mentioned this earlier, but just find some artwork online and just copy it. Don't post it and claim it as your own. You'll at least be drawing something. In fact, Hunter S. Thompson actually said that when he had writer's block, he would literally copy the words from the Ulysses or something. And the reason why he did that is he wanted to engage in the act of writing, even if it's not his own. A question from Dan Carroll. How do you differentiate art as a hobby versus art as a passion? Interesting wording. I would think that a hobby is, to some degree, a passion. I don't like spend my free time on something that I don't at least care to some degree about, Does art help you express yourself in some way? Do you get joy out of doing art? Or is it something that you do to kill time? Like I work on the comic series, Kamikaze. I would say that is less of a hobby and more of a passion. It's fun making a comic book, but there's a lot of sacrifices as well. There's been countless times I haven't been able to hang out with someone because I'm going to be working on the comic tonight. I have to spend a lot of time and money going to conventions to sell the comic book and promote it. So I guess maybe sacrifice and costs are part of the equation as well. It's an interesting question. Never really thought about differentiating the two, but those are my initial thoughts. Amira Azarvan asks, is there, in your view, such a thing as objectively bad art? That would be a cool topic to discuss. Getting deep on me, bro. Let's see, what is bad art to me? So one of the misconceptions that people have about me is that because I do draw from like objects and my work does reflect a likeness of what I'm trying to convey, people think that I'm against non-objective, like abstract art. I actually like that stuff. I love Kandinsky, I love Jackson Pollock, I loved Rothko. Is it stuff I would buy? Probably not, but that's just me. But I do like the whole idea of being able to convey abstract ideas and emotions in a visual way. Hey, Kandinsky's art is very musical to me. It's like visually musical. And a lot of that art you can't really appreciate until you kind of see the real thing. Because the physical presence of that art also makes a big difference in its presentation and ideas and everything. But what is bad art? I mean, other than anatomically incorrect drawings or technically bad drawing, I don't know. There's always room for improvement in all art, and who am I to judge if someone is in a different step in their creative journey? What is the meaning of bad in this question? Is it incorrectness, or is it like evoke negative emotion, or like what is bad? We're getting too philosophical here. I will say that with more like non-objective art, I do believe that that kind of stuff needs explanation, and that's okay. I've learned as I've gotten older that I enjoy art when it's put in context for me. I need to know the history, the intention, and the reception of the art. Just because art is a part of history. And just looking at a Rothko picture without understanding what the artist was trying to do and why it was so breathtaking at the time, and not knowing like the process of putting one of those Rothko paintings together, I mean, the beauty of it can easily be lost, and no one should be shunned for not seeing that. I don't believe in art snobbery, but maybe I think bad art is when a piece does not accurately depict or express the artist's intention, or maybe it is completely taken the wrong way. No, but then that means like all the people who have ever made offensive depictions of like minorities and things, maybe their intention wasn't to offend, but the outcome is they did offend. So that is such a hard question, actually. Maybe bad art is offensive art. But then sometimes offensive art is what's needed to create social change. So you know what? Those are my thoughts on the question. I don't really have a conclusive answer. I think there is bad art out there. I just don't know how to put it into words. I guess bad art can be technically incorrect art, which means some of my art is bad. I ain't gonna lie. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have other questions about art, feel free to comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks!